Alright, welcome back to Whispering Pines, everybody. We're going to make today some peanut butter cup ice cream. We're getting prepared for the heat of the summer, so what we're going to do and what we need is a cup and a half of milk. Whole milk works the best. A cup and a half of cream. 3/4 of a cup of sugar. 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter, and I've heated this up just a little bit in the microwave to make it a little more liquidy. And then half a cup of egg yolks. Like, these are quail egg yolks. I did some angel food cake a few days ago with the quail egg whites, so I'm using the egg yolks for the ice cream today. And then we need a teaspoon of vanilla and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Once we get past this stage, we'll also need a half a cup of chunky peanut butter with a half a cup of powdered sugar, and then about 10 to a dozen peanut butter cups to finish it off. But we're going to get started with this first. So I'm going to take my peanut butter and then my egg yolks, and I'm going to mix them together in a bowl. Doesn't have to be a stainless steel bowl, just something that can take a little bit of heat, because when we bring our cream and milk up to temperature, we're going to take and temper our egg yolks in this bowl. I'll break up the yolks just a little bit more. I see a couple of them floating. Oof. Mosquitoes are getting bad. Okay, and then we go in with the egg yolks. Now, this is actually a pretty quick process, this part of it. So we're going to let that sit for a minute. I'm going to take my pot. Now, I use a larger pot, more surface area. The cream and milk will heat up a little bit faster. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pour the cream in first because it's thicker. And you can see the way it coats the jar. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my milk and pour it in here and kind of swish it around. And that's going to help me get all that cream, till I throw it on the table. Alright, add all that together. And then I'm going to go with roughly half of my sugar in here. Okay. Now I'm going to get this up to a rough simmer. We don't need to bring it over to a boil or anything, so we're just going to bring it up to a simmer. And I'm going to let this heat up, and then I'll bring you back. But I'm going to go ahead and mix in the rest of my sugar into my mixture here. Okay. I'll turn this off right now. Goes up to 165 degrees. So now we're going to temper our mixture here, which I'm going to pour just a little bit. In, and being this is a thicker mixture, I like to use a whisk to start with, or a spatula to start with. Otherwise, you just kind of have really a clumpy mess in the whisk. I'll switch over here in a second. As you can see now, it's coming together, it's loosening up. So scrape this off. This guy here. Now I'm going to switch over to my whisk here. So it's thinned out. Make sure I get all the clumps out. Pour a little bit more in here. So now the reason why we're tempering the egg yolks is we don't want them to cook if we just added the egg yolk into the cream and milk, it would cook the egg yolks. I'm going to add our 1/4 cup of salt in here. The vanilla we're going to add afterwards. A little bit more, probably just the remaining cream. Now we're going to add this all back into the pot. No, you just gotta... Make sure I scrape all the bowl. So now I'm going to bring this up to 150 or 185 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's going to pasteurize my egg yolks and make them safe. So I'll bring you back once we get there. Oh, and you want to make sure that you're stirring this continuously, because if you don't, you're going to get, you're going to scorch the cream and egg yolks on the bottom. So you want to make sure that you're keeping the batter mixing. All right, so we're at 175-ish. Our batter's thickening up. I think I'm actually going to stop it here. So as you can see down in here, you can see how thick it's getting now. So I'm going to take that off the heat. Oh, 178. So I turned off the heat. I'm going to continue whisking this just for a couple minutes so that I don't get the heat off the bottom of the pan and it's going to scorch the batter as I pour it out. I'm going to add my vanilla now. Take my bowl back. Now I'm going to pour this. I'm going to switch over to my spatula. Now if you do scorch on the bottom and you get a little bit of curdledness to it, just run it through a strainer and you'll get all that kind of scrambled eggs out of it, and just toss them away and you can keep what's left. Pour this in my bowl. Alright, so now we're going to take this in, put it in the cooler for at least 2.5 to 3 hours until it's chilled down, and then I'll bring you back and I'll show you how to finish it off. What's going on in the video? Alright, so we got our batter cooled down. We've got our ice cream mixer on our KitchenAid. We've got the candy piece that we're going to add at the end, and then we've got our peanut butter. It's a half a cup of, or it's actually now 3/4 cup of peanut butter with a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. So I'm going to turn my ice cream mixer on. Just go medium low to start with. I'm going to add my batter. And then I'll turn it up. Now Now you always want to have your mixer started when you're using like a KitchenAid, because this bowl is frozen, and if you don't, it has a tendency where it could freeze the ice cream to the center of the bowl, and then it's gonna start harder. So you always want to make sure that you have it on at least low. Now I'm going to turn this up to about a 4, about a medium, and we'll let this run, and then I'll bring you back once we get it to the stage where it's turned enough, and I'll bring you back. Okay, this is just finishing up, just about where it's ready to go. Now remember, when you use these machines, it's going to come out like soft serve, even possibly a little bit lighter than soft serve. It doesn't set up until you put it in the freezer totally, unless you have like a sorbet or something that doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. Then it'll set up fully and can freeze in these. But like I said, here we've got our peanut butter mix. And there are candy pieces. So I'm going to shut this down. Take our pieces off here. This over to the side. Okay. Like I said, nice soft serve consistency. Scrape as much of this as we can back into the bowl here. Okay, so I'm actually going to take our pieces, candy pieces, put them in the bowl. This right here. Take and put this right into that bowl. Now if you're making ice cream, try to make it out of the direct sunlight. Probably even better if you do it on indoors. It's going to help with the freezing. And then I'm just going to scoop in a little bit of this, or basically all of this. And I'm not going to fold this, like totally incorporate it. I'm just going to fold it in so that it leaves ribbons in there. And the reason why I put the powdered sugar in it is so that as it freezes, the powdered sugar kind of inhibits so it doesn't freeze solid. So I'm just going to go like that, and that's done enough. Now I'm going to take and pop this in the freezer. Once it sets up, I'll be right back. Alright, so our ice cream has been sitting for about an hour and a half, and it's still a little bit soft, but that is some good ice cream right there. So you can see what it looks like. And the peanut butter that I mixed with the powdered sugar stays nice and soft throughout it. So I hope you guys have to take a chance, or take the time, make this. It's a great way to cool down in the summer, especially if you like the peanut butter cups. So once again, from my family to yours, have a great day and God bless.